Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Just to remind you, we are recording this session. So those are parents that cannot make it can view the recording later, or if you'd like to watch it again. Thank you for joining us this morning for our first Coffee with the Principals since the school year started. So we had one prior to school starting. This is our first one since the school year started. And we have some guests today that will be presenting, guests that are our faculty members. So welcome everyone. Welcome to, what are we in, week 4, 5? A few weeks in, we have our first report cards that are being sent home now. You should be receiving them soon. We had our back to school night and we are into our school year. So we have a presentation today from our PSA and PSW. Ms. Yankovenko and Ms. Mora. Ms. Yakovenko has been at TAF for several years. She's our pupil services and attendance counselor. So you might recognize her, and she's come to Coffee with the Principal before. And our psychiatric social worker, Ms. Mora, is new to us this year, and this is a new position, and we're very excited and happy to have them here. They have been in advisory classes, either in person or by video. They've been creating content and lessons for our advisory classes. And they have a special presentation for us today. Then we're going to get some updates and we'll have an opportunity for some questions. So thank you all for joining us. And I am going to stop sharing my screen, and Ms. Yankovenko is going to share her screen. Once again, everyone, you are being recorded, just so you know, disclaimer.
Can everybody see this? We're good? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us. I'm Veronica Yakovenko. The students know me as Miss Y, and I am the Pupil Services and Attendance Counselor at Taft. And with me today is Mary Mora. And we're just everyone. Oh, there she is. We're just going to talk to you a little bit about some new exciting things that we've been doing in the advisory classes, and you'll get to kind of get a glimpse as to what that actually looks like in the classroom. Here I am. So I am, my primary role at Taft is to make sure that students are attending, and with that comes the need to eliminate barriers to attendance. So a lot of the things that I do involve linking families with resources. So families that might be in need of housing resources, maybe they need help with immigration, they need clothing, they need food, any other community resources. And I'm doing a lot of this now because a lot of families have unfortunately experienced a decrease in income due to COVID. So there's a lot of community referrals, a lot of, helping families locate food banks and things like that. This is how I can be reached. Email is best for me. You can find me through the Taft website as well. You can email me through there. So if you're interested in setting up an appointment or you feel like there's something that I could help you with, please reach out. And this is my role, a little bit more about that. It's hard to pinpoint things and narrow them down to just a few boxes, but these are kind of the main things I do. I work on attendance improvement. I do intensive case management. So each year I have a caseload of about 250 students that are intensively case managed. And that means they require weekly contact. I work to create a safe and welcoming school environment. I try to engage parents, and I provide community linkages and referrals, and I work on interventions for at-risk students.
So this is a little bit more about what I do as a PSW. So I primarily focus on the mental health aspect of supporting students. I listed a couple of the kind of areas that tend to come up a lot: anxiety and depression and some trauma. And I spend a lot of time linking to mental health resources and as well as doing crisis support. So there is some overlap with Ms. Yankovenko, but my role is primarily in mental health. It's best to reach me by email as well. It's just a better way to reach out, and then we can set up a time to talk on the phone. If we could go to the next slide. This is just, again, a little bit more about the various things that I do. So if you think about individual students doing individual counseling and group counseling, and along with that, crisis intervention, and then community referral. So making sure that students and families are linked to the appropriate mental health support if they need it. And then I do a lot of parent support and parent consultation. I've gotten a couple of calls so far this year from parents who've just had, you know, a difficult time with their kids or a difficult time navigating systems and just need some support on that. So I'm always available to you as well as parents to help support you through this, as well as doing classroom presentations and just trying to promote general well-being and skills, coping skills to get through this kind of chaotic time. I would be doing that anyway, but I think it's even more applicable during this time. So that's just a little bit of an overview of the various things that I do. So this is kind of just to help understand the overlap of our roles. So I guess it's on my left is more of what the PSA does and the right is more of what I do. So in the middle though, and what we really want to emphasize is that if students are being cared for in their well-being, if every part of who they are is being cultivated, then they're much more likely to do well in school. And so that's really our goal. And in addition, we both use a lot of data-driven interventions. So we're both trained in evidence-based practices where research backs that these are the kind of interventions that are helpful for students. And we kind of track a lot of how students are doing over time and looking at the history and looking at the whole assessment of what's happening for a student so we can best come up with an appropriate intervention for that particular kid and that particular family. So just to reiterate, there is some overlap, but the kind of bottom line big picture is that I do more of the mental health support and Ms. Yankovenko does more of the community referrals and more of the attendance work.
So we thought it would be helpful for you to see a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. So what are we doing and why? Normally, as Ms. Mora said, we would start the year by doing classroom presentations. I start the year by visiting every single 9th grade English classroom, and I talk about resources and referrals and the importance of engagement and building connections. And it's a little more difficult to do it in the virtual setting. And so we were thinking, how do we reach the most amount of students with limited resources and limited time? And what we came up with was a little web series that we jokingly called the Mary and Veronica Show. And basically it is social emotional learning content. And we have committed to providing this 2 days a week. So our little web series plays on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the advisory classes. And it comes with activities that the teachers can facilitate after the video is done and kind of worksheets that the students can work on. And basically there were a lot of reasons that went into this. And part of it is having advisories, which is like homeroom. Having this is new to Taft, or at least we haven't had it in my time there. And so we felt like we had an obligation to support the teachers as well as the students, right? This distance learning is a challenge, and then taking on an additional class in which the teachers are expected to provide social emotional support can feel really overwhelming. And since it's our area of expertise, we thought, why not? We would do this anyway, and you know, we're really there to support the students, support the teachers. So we do a lot of work to help students understand anxiety and understand their emotions and how they can control those. So we've been talking a lot about negative thoughts and automatic thoughts and ways that they can kind of de-escalate themselves if they're having anxiety or a panic attack. We're going to teach just general stress reduction, sleep hygiene, things like that. We've done a video on coping skills. These are all things that we feel are necessary, and we're getting some amazing feedback. It seems like this is really helping. And we thought it'd be kind of fun for you to get a preview of one of these. So put yourself in the mindset of a high school student sitting in your homeroom class or in your home, which is the homeroom class, and kind of take this in. Oh no, where'd it go? There we go. So take some time to think about the most common
Ms. Yankovenko, we lost the audio. Did you?
Kind of gets you. That's your automatic thought. And then pause and think about, what are you most worried about? Is it your appearance? Is it your surroundings? What is it? And if you could change one thing, what would it be? So this is something that's that's called the miracle question. So if a miracle happened and things changed overnight, how would they be different? What would be different? And maybe there are some things that you're able to change and that you actually have control over. And finally, does it feel like you're the only one having this experience? And we're just going to take a moment to say, no, there's a reason we're making this video, right? We're not making it because one person told us they're having this experience. We're making it because many, many of you are struggling with Zoom anxiety. So we just wanted to put it out there and let you know that it's video worthy, which means it's happening a lot, not just at Taft, but all over. And it's really worth discussing.
So this is kind of your to-do cheat sheet for how to handle when you think that you're engaging in these cognitive distortions. So first thing, and we've already mentioned this, but pay attention to these thoughts. You can't begin to change them if you aren't aware that they're happening. And I think this is really powerful because once we are in the habit of checking in with ourselves about what these patterns are, we can begin to see them more clearly, and it's easier to see them over time. And then ask yourself, am I getting trapped in a cognitive distortion? Am I getting pulled in and kind of sucked into one of these trapped patterns where I am either, you know, as the two examples we just mentioned, making it into this catastrophic thing, or just not seeing the gray that things are often more complicated than we want to see them. So we're either making it everything is awesome all the time or everything's terrible all the time. So once you've kind of recognized where you're at, where are these, you know, what are these automatic thoughts? I'm having this pattern. Am I in this cognitive distortion? And then say, wait, but do I have any evidence that these thoughts are true? Do I know that my teacher is thinking this? No, you don't. Do I know that I'm never going to make a friend, or I'm not going to have a good high school experience because I had one embarrassing moment in a Zoom session or a Zoom classroom? No, you don't know that, right? So we're challenging, do we have enough evidence to really justify some of our reactions and our emotions that come from these thoughts, and our behaviors that come from these thoughts? So also, what would I tell a friend if they were having these thoughts, right? We're often kinder to other people than we would be to ourselves, and it can be easier to see the nuance when we're talking about someone else. So making it kind of an external thing, like, hey, if my friend were saying this, would I really think that nothing good would ever happen, or they would just feel like a failure all the time? Of course not. So what pep talk would you give to yourself if you were your own friend? And then if my thought did come true, so that automatic distorted thought, if it did come through, how would I cope? And probably the answer is that you would do better than you think. And that maybe you've already been in a situation that was really hard and you were able to get through it. You felt uncomfortable and you were able to get through it. And so remind yourself of how you coped in the past and know that you can get through it.
So take some.
So that was just a short clip of what we've been doing twice a week in the advisory classes. I know.
Keep talking while I.
Yeah, that's fine. And actually what we were going to talk about now is just a brief kind of along the same lines for you as parents of just normalizing what this has been like over the past 8 months. Probably stress levels are higher. That's okay. It is very chaotic in kind of every arena of the world right now. And so if you're feeling that, that is okay. And so we just want to make sure that we're sending that message to you too. We all have a lot of our plates, a lot on our plates, and just being able to take a second and be kinder to ourselves and a little bit more in tune with what we need and more compassionate about giving ourselves the time that we need to be able to rejuvenate is really more important than ever right now. So a couple ways to do this. I think you can see the PowerPoint now. Continue to find at least one thing every day to look forward to. This has always worked for me. Just having that one thing to look forward to is really helpful. If you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling like, you know, I just don't feel like myself, this is going on for a period of time and I'm not coming out of it, please reach out. It can be to one of us and we can help you. It can be to anybody that you trust, but just don't feel that, you know, there's something wrong if you need to reach out. We send the same message to students and it really applies to everybody. So please don't hesitate to reach out for some support and we can help link you if necessary. Another just word of caution about social media, and again, we're sending this message to the students as well, is that we can get overwhelmed and bombarded when we're seeing so much negativity or so much conflict in social media and on the news, and to just be mindful of how much you're bombarding yourself with that and how it's making you feel. So I'm not saying don't look. I'm not telling you how to, you know, engage in social media or engage in the news. We're just wanting to be aware of the impact that this is having in terms of whether it's helping your mood or not. And I think compassion fatigue is real and empathy fatigue is real, where there's only so much bandwidth that each of us has to be able to feel for others that are having it harder than us. And then maybe it's even hard for us to feel empathy for ourselves and all the losses that each of us has experienced over the last 8 months. It can be hard to acknowledge that when we think, you know, all those other people have it worse, or, you know, at least I still have this. And really none of that is empathic to yourself. And so it's okay to mourn the losses for yourself and also hold that empathy for other people. And again, we're trying to send this message to the students as well, just to make sure that we are, we're just normalizing the chaos and making sure that we all feel that we're not alone in it.
Okay, we just wanted to take some time to talk about how a student would access our services. So one of the things that we tell the students constantly is that we are encouraging them to build relationships with at least one adult on campus. And this is so, so, so important. I don't know if any of you can remember high school and how scary it can be. And if you were fortunate enough to have a teacher that you really bonded with, that you could go to and talk to when things just were not going well, I bet it really made a difference. And so we're really, really encouraging all of our students to build these relationships because they matter. They really do. For a lot of the students, we are it. We're that trusting adult and we're happy to be that. Some other ways is a student is referred by a teacher or staff. Student is identified as needing resources. Student would be chronically absent. That student would be on my caseload. And generally speaking, the referral process begins with the academic counselor, but it always depends on the circumstance. If a student is, let's say a family member, you know, lost their job and the family had to, you know, got evicted, I would never say, oh, you have to go tell your academic counselor, and your academic counselor would tell me. No, it's an open door policy. The students know how to access me and what I can do. But generally for mental health services, the gatekeeper is the academic counselor. So they would start with the academic counselor, either through referral, self-referral, or referral from the teacher. And then Ms. Moore would follow up as needed. And this is something that we tell all of our students. We are here to support them, but we're not here 24 hours a day. And so we have, this is the ending slide to our very first video that we did. And we asked the teachers to post it on their Schoology pages. This is 24-hour support. If a student feels like they're just having emotions that are overwhelming, they're just having some big feelings and they need some support. These are the ones that are LAUSD vetted and approved, and that we trust as well as mental health professionals. And that's it. I don't know if we're doing questions or how this is going to go, but that is.
Thank you. We'll do some questions in a minute. I want to thank Ms. Moore and Ms. Yankovenko for being here today, kind of sharing what we're doing. And I have to say, we've added these positions over the years based on the data that we've collected, the feedback from parents, students, faculty, and what the needs of the school are. So we've allocated these resources to support our students. And we're very pleased with the team that we have, and they complement each other. They do a great job. at supporting our students. And I'm just very excited from seeing the work that they've already done in a short amount of time and the impact they're having on our students, that we're gonna have a great support network for our students and for our faculty and our staff. I think that many of us are gaining from their work already. And the fact that we can, I always like to look at the positives. And one of the positives in the situation that we're in is that we can record these sessions, we can share these sessions, and we can make it available for students a little bit easier than we would in the past. Our reach is a little bit further. So although there are several negatives, we have to always look at those positives. And those parents that could not participate in Coffee with the Principal this morning are able to access this through video as well. And maybe you wouldn't be able to make it to campus, but today you're able to join us through Zoom wherever you may be. So we appreciate to always look at those positives in everything that we do. Some of the things that we've had on campus recently, just to kind of, in our first few weeks, we had our welcome back meetings at the beginning of the year with all students, and we got to have a meeting with, I can never have assemblies with everyone because we can only fit 400 or 500 in the MPR, or in the gym I can fit about 600-700. So, with a school of 2,400 students, at the beginning of the year, we were able to do a meeting, an assembly for all students. And we had over 2,000 students participate, and we were able to actually poll the students and ask them some questions. And I could quickly, instantly kind of get a temperature of the room. And that's one of the benefits that we have in this format. And some of these things that we're not going to be in this format forever. We're going to be back on campus eventually, hopefully soon. And these are some of the tools that we've actually implemented, I think are going to carry through us being at school in person. So it took us a pandemic to try some new things. And I'm very, I want to once again, think of the positive, fortunate that we can take some of these tools with us when we go back to school in person. I want to share some of the updates of what's going on to make sure I don't forget. Actually, I might share my screen because it's going to help me remember some of the things. Yeah. Okay, so a couple reminders. I just wanted to put it down. So we have a PTO meeting tonight. Sorry, if you haven't participated in the past, this is a great chance. If you're a new family, we'd love for you to join us tonight. Sorry it landed on the same day. We're trying to avoid certain things and timelines, and it ended up that it's the same night as tonight, but it's a good reminder. So 6 p.m. tonight via Zoom. You can go to the website, just like you did for this meeting, and you can click on the link and we'll send you tonight. Teen Court is Thursday from 2:30 to 4:30. So in the past, we had Teen Court was, was in Taft Hall. Teen Court is now going to be on Zoom. So I'm not sure exactly what adjustments they'll make, because remember, these are minors being charged with going through a system with their peers, and they will have an opportunity to, we're going through the court process, and our students act as a jury. So I'm curious to see how this will go, but I would encourage your child, if they have not participated in it before, it is welcome to all students. There's information going to be posted on our website soon, but it's already been posted on some of our social media. And so students can join us for Teen Court after school on Thursday. It will be a real case with a real situation, and it is not a student at our school. I want to also remind everyone, in the chat is an opportunity for you could put questions, but also there's a link for the sign-in. So please make sure you sign in today so we know who was in attendance for our records. We appreciate that. On this last week, or just on the 11th, on Friday, we had our back to school pep rally. And we really wanted to, once again, we could invite all students, and we had more students than could fit in the gym. And we're trying new things. And I told the students, it may be awesome, it may be amazing, or it may be a total flop, but you want to be there either way to see it. And I'm very happy, and I'm very impressed at our ASB and our sponsor and our teams that put together clips for this video, so we can still be our school community. Even if we are virtual, we are creating that community. And so I appreciate all of their time and effort that they went above and beyond to put this together for our virtual assembly. I'm sorry, a virtual back to school pep rally. And we had a virtual, Spirit Week. So I appreciate all of their efforts, and we're going to continue to try things to connect students together. Starting again this Friday, we have Club Rush at lunch from 12:30 to 1. So encourage your child to look at the content that we're putting up for that. There will be links and codes for students to go into different club meetings. It's an important time for our students to be able to interact socially and to find a common interest and be able to, ascend on a certain Zoom and share where we share similar interests is key in having those relationships and building those relationships, especially if they're new to our school, so that when they come back to school, they have some of those connections already there. And that's going to hopefully lower some of that anxiety of joining a new school or a campus when we come back in person, is that they already know some people from either their classes or a club or something else like that. I just wanted to quickly share with you, LAUSD has begun rolling out COVID-19 testing for staff members that are having their children come to work or go to childcare centers at the different districts. They started last Thursday, Friday, Monday, yesterday, and today. They're testing all participants, and it's kind of a way to roll out some of kind of practice with our employees and our employees' children in preparation for coming back to school, and have that testing. You can see from this article, there's testing. The goal is to test 40,000 people a day. There will be groups in teams going around to different schools, because we're in and out of school sites. We're the next level of being tested. And this is in collaboration with UCLA, Stanford, and Johns Hopkins University, as well as Cedars-Sinai and Anthem Blue Cross and Health Net. So this is a large undertaking that other districts have not done yet. And this is part of the system of coming, back to school in person and making sure that we're safe. So just wanted to share that article with you a little bit. And I want to make sure that our PTO, our amazing PTO, has put together their monthly newsletter. And so we'll be posting these. You should receive these automatically. If you're not getting them automatically through your email, you can go to the PTO section of the website, and then you can click on, receive these as emails. I have a little message here. The PTO corner just talks about, just kind of highlights different people, different staff members, different programs throughout the year. And then this is how to join a parent Schoology group, some instructions on that. A little update on the TAF modernization project, because we had a meeting kind of updating us and looking at some renderings of what the project is going to entail. A little bit about our football program, and which was connected to an article that was written about our coach, and then their ask letter. So this is just key information of things that are going on. I appreciate their efforts. This is all they're volunteering their time to put this together. And so I think it's, our parents have had multiple students come through our school and through college. So it's a great networking place. So you don't feel alone as a parent to make those connections with each other so that you can give advice, because we as educators, we can all give our advice in different things, but advice that I've heard given from parent to parent is valuable. And so many of our parents have had several students go through. So I think we need to take advantage of those opportunities and building our community, because I know we do have a nice group that comes together on a monthly basis, either for coffee with the principal or PTO or school site council or whatever it may be. And I think it's important to keep our ties and keep our connections and make sure that our mental health is well for our own kids. So that's another reason why I wanted Ms. Moore and Ms. Yankovenko here today, because I know we're as parents, we are the ones that have to be strong. We have to be supportive. We feel it when our kids are struggling, and we need to be strong, and we always, and then we put ourselves last, just you know, as oftentimes parents were doing that for our own kids so that they are not feeling we're trying to, you know, protect them from any of those pressures that we may be feeling, and that adds to our own personal stress. So I think we could all use some support during these challenging times, and we could all use each other to know that we're not alone, that our feelings, you know, getting upset with the kids because we're in tight quarters or we're all trying to get something done. And I often, you know, am guilty of it too with my own kids of like getting maybe short-tempered more than usual because of certain stresses that are coming from different directions. So I'm here to say that that's normal, that happens to everyone. But I think, as Ms. Yankovenko and Ms. Morris said, but realizing and recognizing, are we having all the ups and then we're not recognizing you know, certain things, or we're having all the downs, and are we seeing patterns, and do we you know, I think it was great, and the content that they've been providing is not only helping the students, it is helping our staff. And I just want to encourage you to make sure that you have self-care and take care of yourselves. And once again, I'm going to look to the chat. And we'll probably stop the recording now, Ms. Ko.